Perhaps your New Year's resolution is focused on prioritizing your mental health. And one thing that can significantly affect our mental health is trauma.
And what you may not realize is that trauma can be passed from one generation to the next, even if you aren't necessarily aware of it.
Yeah, and that's something our next guest is talking about in her new book. It's called Break the Cycle, A Guide to Healing Integrational Trauma. So, Dr. Mariel Buque is a Columbia University trained psychologist and trauma expert. You also might have seen her on social media where she shares her warm and smooth wisdom through hot tea sessions. Take a look.
Excuse me, but why are we ignoring red flags? You know, the ones you saw, but pretended you weren't catching on to. You know that acting like you didn't see the red flag doesn't actually make you unsee it. It doesn't make it go away. It's still as red as it was when you first laid your eyes on it. But let's be honest here. I mean, really honest. It's worthwhile asking this question. And it's gonna be a tough one to ask and a tough one to answer. But why do you believe that this is what you deserve? Take some time with it. I know that stung, but I hope it ultimately leads you to the right decision. This tea is hot.
I'm putting her on blast right now. My sister needs to tune into this channel right here. She's in Mexico. She'll never see it.
She is a nice girl.
All right, Dr. Buqué.
Hello,
After all of that, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
There's a whole scuttlebutt because you've brought this most beautiful tea set.
This is stunning.
Because you start talking about trauma by spilling some tea or maybe sipping some tea. So can we talk about how tea relates to addressing and meeting our trauma?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the way that I practice is as a holistic psychologist. So I really integrate a lot of the ways in which in mind, body, and spirit we could heal. And part of the reason being is because intergenerational trauma impacts us that deeply. So I actually started
Yeah, what do you have?
Let's do it.
tea. Yes.
It's so pretty.
I wanted us to really be able to like take in a mindful moment as we're actually
Please.
sipping our tea because
Okay.
'tis the day, right?
Yes.
And so this is butterfly pea flower tea. It's one of my favorites. It's,
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, there's
She's
like
dropped it into the center.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There's a little cup there that actually holds the tea.
Oh, and I love a gold cutlery.
Wow.
And
Were you
it'll-
a tea drinker before you started doing this?
Yes, I was actually. Tea is something that my family has used for generations to heal the people in my family, and we actually use earth to really remedy a lot of the things that happen to us mentally, physically. And so, you know, as I let like the tea steep, I have an opportunity to just mindfully stare at it, watch it change colors, and have a moment that can actually be of benefit to my mental well-being while I'm making something that is really so simple.
This is a form of meditation.
I was just going to say,
because
here's your meditation, Marisol.
I'm trying to learn how to meditate, and it's
my
very hard for me because I'm constantly on the go. And a friend recommended stare at a candle. And this is very similar.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
just
watching
staring
what's
at some-
happening here. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's
I did not
beautiful.
know it was going to turn blue. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, staring, meditating.
Also on this table, aside from the gorgeous tea set and the accoutrements, is a book. Tell us everything about this book right here.
Yeah, so this is actually a guide to healing intergenerational trauma, which we don't necessarily have a comprehensive guide out into the world until now, but we have so much intergenerational trauma in the world.
What, can you
Yes.
define it for us? Because I've heard this word a lot in the past couple of years. And what is it exactly?
Intergenerational trauma is the only trauma that can actually be handed down through the generations, from grandparent to parent, parent to child, and so on. And it happens at the intersection of our biology and our psychology. So on the biological side, we actually have gene expressions and cellular memory that can actually get translated forward at conception when we actually conceive our kids.
I didn't realize that part of it.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so that's what makes it uniquely intergenerational trauma, because it actually, there's that biological element.
molecular.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that is a lot to steep.
Yeah.
Right there.
With the tea. Look, it's getting,
With the
it's
tea.
getting, it's
Oh my
getting
God!
warm.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Remind us what it's called. What kind of
This
tea?
is butterfly pea flower tea.
Butterfly pea flower.
And I find that, you know, whenever we can actually like bring in these tea elements into a practice like therapy, it allows us an opportunity to not only talk about the healing properties that we need for the body, which is really essential, but also gives us an opportunity, you know, as we're healing, to also continue to pay attention to something
That's
mindfully.
right.
That is a well thought out approach. I love that. What are some of the different trauma responses that we might have? And then also, how can those sort of present in our everyday life?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, intergenerational trauma happens to be the kind of trauma that not only has like trauma symptoms, meaning that you might experience chronic sadness, chronic grief, a lot of deep worry, and a lot of the things that look like depression, anxiety. But in addition to that, you'll also see that sometimes people will have a series of relationships that are unhealthy. And when they start looking at their family tree, they realize, oh, wait, unhealthy relationships has been basically recycled in my family for generations.
My head is exploding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then how do we break those cycles? Because it's, you know, anxiety writ large seems insurmountable. Then I think once you become aware of the fact that, oh my gosh, this comes from my lineage, trying to break that is no easy feat. And I'm sure it's not something that you do in one tea session.
No.
It isn't. It does take some time, but the thing about it is that the actual tools can be very tangible and can be accessible to a lot of people, which is why, you know, I wrote them into this book, because I wanted people to be able to say, I can do something to break the cycle today and tomorrow and the next day. And so we start really with settling our nervous system, because trauma is deeply embedded in our nervous system. So we have to specifically like focus on how the nervous system can feel settled through meditation, through progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense your muscles and then release the muscles and the tension that's held there, the emotional tension, right? And all of those practices that can actually help you to feel more settled, so then you can start doing all the digging work and dig into the shadows of the past.
Is this something that you can do on your own?
You can do it on your own, and some people need a bit of extra guidance from a mental health professional or other healers that they work with.
Sure.
And it is advisable to also like loop in other people, including co-healers, as I call them, people that may be on the path towards cycle breaking, and you can both support each other. So it is possible for someone to actually engage in the practices held within the book and see tangible change.
Right. Get the book, that's your blueprint. Get your mental health professional or your healer or co-healer. May we have some tea now?
Get yourself some tea.
Absolutely. Get yourself some tea.
And while she is
So
spilling or pouring the
essential.
tea, Break the Cycle, A Guide to Healing Integrational Trauma, is out now. That book right there, you can find it wherever you get your books.
It
oh
is
my God. Look, and it's not even blue in the thing.
gorgeous.
Oh, yes,
I
it
know.
is. Oh my God,
We're
this
gonna
is
have-
stunning. This is blowing my mind.